My name's Lindsay. I'm making a series of videos on why caring people are not speaking up about the genocide and offering some insights, some supports, and some somatic resources that might help them to do so. So, one of the things that has occurred to me is the scale of grief and disillusionment versus personal capacity. And I think when personal capacity is much lower than the scale of grief and disillusionment or other really challenging states, there can be a tendency to create or curate reality as opposed to just observe reality and be with reality, especially when it's difficult. I think that given the gravity, given the horror of knowing that if you were in a Western country, your government is probably supporting, is sending weapons for the continued genocide of trapped civilians that have not been allowed to escape or evacuate. It's horrific. It's against everything we want to believe about the world. And that is disillusionment. Recognizing that the world is working in a very different way than what we want to believe about life and the world is disillusioning. And that's hard. And if something is really hard, there is a good possibility we're going to avoid it and create something different in our minds. And if we're kind of avoiding it, it's harder to speak up about. If we're not able or willing to look at it, it becomes harder for us to even like kind of keep it in our reality as something that we need to do something about. We kind of just let it go. We kind of just imagine it away, even though it doesn't go anywhere. So I see this as a capacity issue. And I think primarily we do all the things that we've learned about self-care and capacity for a while. So we know about proper nutrition and enough calories a day and getting some movement in our bodies and getting adequate sleep. If we've got past traumas, hopefully we're actively engaging in dealing with those if they're still in the present for us, if they're still impacting us currently, and also finding some meaning and joy in life. And I know this is a massive list, and if you also have to work or raise kids or something else, this might be overwhelming. But still, I'm asking you to manage and try and find those windows of opportunity where you might be able to speak out. Now, the next thing that I think we need, though, is as well as all those personal things that we self-care that we listed that we're very familiar with, is I think we need allies. I think we need community. I think we need others. And if we tend to witness these issues by ourselves on our phone, and maybe we keep it to ourselves or we talk about it with one or two other people, I think it's going to feel isolating and challenging. I think we need a lot more co-regulation. I think we need a lot more witnessing and being witnessed and understood and acknowledged, and all the things that you get in a group, all the things that you get even with just knowing that others out there are feeling and witnessing the same things that you're feeling and witnessing. And so, yeah, I finding ways to connect with others. Maybe that's in your community, maybe that's a community nearby, maybe that's online. But if you haven't done so, begin to seek those out. The next thing is just when you feel like when you're looking into these issues and you feel emotions coming up, when you feel grief, sorrow, overwhelm, giving yourself a little time just to feel that. Finding a little bit of time where you can just rest and allow yourself to feel some of that sorrow or that heaviness or that grief or that rage or whatever, and then just being gentle with yourself, like just making some space for these feelings in you for a little while and caring for yourself. And I imagine like if some tears have come, maybe you want to lie on your side in a recovery position, and then just do some deep breathing after the tears and kind of letting your body come into a rest state. That's also going to help you a little bit integrate some of what you're feeling and experiencing. So those are very simple somatic suggestions, but I think that being with what we're actually feeling and not holding it at bay, and then also finding the allies, finding the others who are also feeling this, I think it's going to help you manage the reality that is. Thank you.